Am I on? Hey, I'm on. Woo-hoo. Hey, it's me. Let's forego the formalities, and we're just going to dig in here. I have spent a little bit of time here, not a whole bunch, a little bit, walking around this quarter piano and giving it a good take. And I've been doing a little bit of living in the past too. And I have decided that in replacing this particular quarter piano, I call it a quarter piano because where the new one is made, that's what they call it. They call it a quarter piano. This one a quarter piano. So I'm going to replace this one a quarter piano with that one a quarter piano. You can't see it, but it's right there. I'm looking right at it. I mean, right at it. Why, yada. So, in putting that on, what I'm going to do here, on account of I've fell down this hill before. I fell down these stairs before. I've banged my dink in this door before. I've had poor experiences in the past. So what I'm fitting to do here is I'm going to go to this seam up. I think what I might do is I might even delete this seam. So I don't know if I'm going to spend it, because this is a nice clean seam in here. I covered that before. So I'm not concerned with what's underneath here. And right now, as it is, it still has a coating of lead on it. So the lead might help seal it up. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm probably going to cut this quarter down. I'll take all these welds out, because it welds inside the pinch weld here. I'll use this piece. I'm going to fit the trim to the quarter piano to make sure that our window trim fits the radius nicely, because that's been a problem in the past. But I do not believe that I'm going to use the trunk jam portion. I got a full quarter piano, so it goes edge to edge to edge to bloody Geesley edge. So it's got all the jams involved. Can you see where I'm pointing? I think you can. So I've been in a situation before where in order to avoid putting what's that, maybe a 30-inch, 31-inch butt weld there, and in order to avoid we'll call that a 21-inch butt weld up here, I've invested a whole lot more time in removing an entire panel, tossing it, taking a new panel on, fitting it on there, and giving her the big thumbs down. And at that point, you cannot fit your new panel on there till you remove your old panel. So once you're into it that far, well, you're into it. And if it stinks, it stinks. And let me tell you something, you got to hold your breath. So I'm not going to do that, because what I'm getting to is the amount of effort that I've put in the past to try to come back from something like that. I've taken new panels and had to cut them 3/4 of the way up. And I've had to modify the gap in one direction or the other. I've had to cut them around taillights and stuff because they just ain't right. That pocket's not right. These cars, the bumper tucks in to the original quarter on this car. Whereas I am not confident that the pocket that the bumper tucks into on the original quarter panel, I'm not confident that on the new quarter piano that this pocket is going to be stamped correctly and then the bumper is going to fit nicely. So we're in pretty good shape. We got a little bit of surface rust up here, not bad. This sucks, so I'm really hoping the trim fits the new quarter piano as well as it fits the factory quarter. And I'm going to cut her. I'm going to maintain that because we've got a nice trunk gap. So I'm going to leave the GM steel in there because it's in nice shape on the inside. It's not all shitty underneath where the weather strip was. In fact, I can see the original green paint. We've got some surface up here. Little blaster will take care of that. This pocket is nice. This panel. So that's the intention there, and I am going to cut above here and around and down. I will use the entire lower section, but I will butt weld along that and above there. On the inside, I'll be able to get it to 100% of that weld, so I can get in there and I can dress the inside of that weld. So 15 years later, it ain't going to be a problem. Up here, I think I'm probably going to make a piece to come right over, like a little filler piece, instead of filling that full of filler. If I do that, I will figure out where I'm going to be affected, and I'll put some epoxy on the inside of that. I will I'm pretty sure that we shouldn't have a problem in here in the drip rail because the new Cortapino, it tucks inside there and it welds from this way. So I'm pretty sure I should be able to cut those welds, maintain this, and again, I have had copious problems in the past trying to get a door gap. To the point of I put the new Cortapino on the car after I've torched off the factory quarter panel, and I've had to make cuts into the Cortapino to either spread or shrink to make a door gap. I've had them where they're the wrong shape, so you got to access them. I've had them where I've had to make a cut in the jam and pull some shape out or lose some of the shape. Whereas this, we got a nice even gap, and our shape is good because that's a GM quarter panel and a GM door. See what I'm saying to you? The General, he don't piss around. And it's the same thing on the edges of the door. I've had to do welding on the edge of the door. I've had to grind the doors back, all in an effort. Now that's very invasive on both the new Cortapino and the original door to save a butt weld there. And again, I can get to 100% of the inside of that weld from the inside here to dress it and seal it up so it's never going to be a problem. The bottom, I should be able to use, where the hell is it? No, they just got her body where there's almost no seam there. It shouldn't be a problem, the bottom of that one. And even if it is, well, I'll deal with it. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to save this factory door jamb piece. One of the biggest factors in me deciding to do it was down here at the bottom where the factory quarter panel tucks in over top of the rocker in the jamb, where that little dog leg area. It's very nice. It's not swelled up at all. If there's rust in behind it, you'll know because in between your welds, the panel will go whoa weld, whoa weld, whoa weld, and it'll be swelled out in between the welds, and that's rust pushing it out. This ain't. It's quite nice, quite nice. And I believe the other side is quite nice as well. So, I ain't doing it. It's going to save some time and a lot of work in the long run. Because like I said, if you put a new Cortapino on and you're slicing and dicing and cutting and welding and everything else and spending time doing it, you didn't save nothing, did you? Because one weld down there I can get at versus 7 cuts, grinds, cuts, putting pieces in, pieing stuff in, cutting back, welding door edges. Because it's a new Cortapino was a toilet. Ain't doing it. Gonna have a nicer job in the long run because of it. So there, I'm almost out of breath after that. This is what the cool kids refer to as windowing the panel. I like to call it the Tony Montana portion of the show. I don't know what'll happen to the audio. Quite often, when I start making some serious racket, it doesn't like it and it shuts off, so I'm not sure. I'll put it back here so it's speak. There we go. All right. It's also where the cats run like hell. Here's a little previous restoration work for ya. Oh, yeah, nice job, boys. Yes, some of them. Yeah, like that rocker's good. That's the factory seam sealer down there, and it's actually, I can dig my nail into that factory bead seam sealer that I'm going to be taking out of there. But I'll be putting some back in again. If you're cutting these out, careful how close you cut. See, because I got a little too close there, because your inner door jamb brace runs in there and it overlaps out onto this quarter. So if you get into that, it's just a pain in the ass. Right in the ass. Oh yeah, there's their fiberglass work. Hey, that's how you fix a hole. Dick smack. So yeah, and like I said, when I get in here and do my weld down in there from inside the trunk lid here, I'll be able to point something in there, cover that up. So that'll be good. Quite nice, quite nice. Even our, like that trunk drop-off's good too, hey? Still got factory undercoating on it. That got there through here. You should be able to feel your spot welds in here. There's still, right here is the lower lip of the quarter panel. Or no, sorry, this is the lower lip. How can you talk with one ear plugged in? This is the lower lip of the quarter panel. So I'm going to take it out. And hopefully the lower lip on the quarter panel is going to coincide. But yeah, so if you run your finger across it, you'll feel little dents. Well, them little dents is your little spot welds. You want to grind them out of there. That's how I do it. I grind them out. A lot of people swear by spot weld cutters. Do what you want to do. You do you. I'll do me. I have a spot weld cutter. My spot weld cutter is many a year and old. And I think I've maybe used it twice. My training in this stuff is in the collision industry. And you got to get shit done. So, in that instance, if you're fixing a car, it's quicker to grab a die grinder and grind that weld out than it is to go grab your drill and check up your spot weld cutter and find them and drill in the wrong spot, or your spot weld cutter is perfectly round, but your spot weld is shaped like a booger or something, and you only get part, you still got to go back in. So I just grab a little die grinder with a little cutoff wheel on it, and I just get to getting. Like I said, you do you. That sounds kind of personal, doesn't it? You do you and I'll do me. Make sure the curtains are closed. Oh. So I don't know if you can see it, but there's just a faint, I don't know what you would call it. You can see the line between this outer piece of steel that I'm grinding through and then this inner rocker. So you can see a circle when you burn through this, and that's when you want to stop. So when you start to see that edge around there, it'll discolor around that edge a little bit too, where it's thin and knife edged. So that's a good indication that you're there. I use a wood chisel, believe it or not, because that beveled edge, where is it? That works nice for separating the panels. You know what I'm saying? Can you hear me? I got earplugs in. One thing you could run into that winds up being some complications every now and then is brass. Because yes, the factory used brass too. Quite often they stuck her in there when they couldn't get at something. So I know what you're saying to yourself. You're saying to yourself, I know a guy who just gets in there with an air chisel, boom, boom, and just cleans all that out of there in 3 seconds instead of whittling away at it. Well, sure, I know a guy like that too. I've been a guy like that. I've also been the guy who gets in there with a welder afterwards and welds up all the holes and stuff that you punched through there with your air chisel because you couldn't really see what was going on. So, once again, going a little bit slower winds up being faster in the long run. So I don't know if any of you out there watching, if anybody's like, what are you even doing there? Cut it out. If any of you are even watching, do you ever watch, there's a fella, Old Bad Chad. He whacks a whole lot of stuff. I mean, he does a lot of whacking, that guy. And, doing this stuff makes me think of something he says. But in this instance, he's dead wrong. He likes to... What are you doing? He likes to think that one of his mottos is, there's no such thing as a wrong cut. Might be a different cut than you intended, but there's never a wrong cut. Well, in this case, there's wrong cuts. You don't want to make a wrong cut here. Because if I make a wrong cut here, that changes this from the customer paying for this accordipiano to Tony paying for this accordipiano. Tony doesn't want to pay for this accordipiano. Patty Cakes just shit her pants when I did that. Well, you just go that way for now then. There. Couple of screws and we're done. Bzing, bzing. So I cut this pocket out, right? And we're sitting too high as it is everywheres. And we're already, like, we're lined up. And we shouldn't be lined up. We should be up here. So you know what that says? That wouldn't have been good. And like I said, I didn't watch the video yet. Or no, it wasn't even a video. It was a post of what he done. We're old Fitzy there. He's putting a quarter panel on a Chevelle, and he was just all bitched up back here. You got a knuckle somewhere in this quarter panel here, and everybody's saying, well, your quarter panel's damaged, that's your problem. But that's just because you don't understand. That knuckle in the quarter there, it ain't going to affect the height of the pocket there, so that ain't it. He's got problems, this is what he's got. And I've seen them before. So yeah, we're really actually quite close here. We're good. This is positive. You know what I'm saying? That's not bad. Oh, son of a bitch! Look at that. My body line even lines up. All right. Next is. Inner fender. So this is final fit, I guess. And we got some stuff here that comes under the category of way she goes, boys, way she goes. So one of the first things is you can see how nicely we're fitting here. That's pretty sweet, eh? This corner doesn't go down. And if you look at it, you can see, whoa! It like in the stamping, it's stamped up. That's all there is to it, this corner. So in this transition, it should just go flat. That side's just flat. Actually, you can even see from here that it's just flat. But if I come over to this side and look at that side, you can see that that quarter ain't stamped flat. So what they've done is in making this body line here, they've put a bowl in it. And instead of it, where's my hand? Instead of it just going down and straight across, theirs goes down and curves up. So that's not a big deal here. What I'm going to have to do is I've already started to make a cut because I thought maybe I was hanging up trying to get this corner down in. So I made a little relief cut because sometimes that's what you got to do. But what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to carry that cut all the way up and around that corner. Yeah, probably to about there, I'm guessing. And then I'll have to lay that in on its own and then bring this down flat and then weld that up. I got bullshits up here too. You can even see the problem there. You can see that this is too wide from here to here. And I measured it over the other side, and the other side is like, I don't know, just 1 1/8 inches maybe or something. And this side's shit, it's 1.5 inches or better. And so the biggest problem that's going to give is, well, you see where my finger is and where that is. I've already fit the trim in here. And so same gig, what I'm going to have to do here is I'm going to have to cut around that corner and lay that out. That's the way it goes. That's the way the old cookie bounces. So when I'm putting this on, like obviously I'm gonna do plug welds down through here. I already know too, I've already seen that this has a radius to it, and this has to be flat. This whole area here, it's got a curve to it. So I'm probably gonna have to make a cut down the length of that, spread it open to make it flat, and then weld my gap up. I'll have to put some welding rod or something in there to fill the gap up to weld that up. Down here, when I'm doing this, I'll just explain now because I probably won't while I'm doing it. I'll be making too much racket. Is I'm going to cut through both layers because my quarter panel's cut right at that edge, and I'll probably go in about a ½ inch. And the reason that I don't want to cut right on this edge, it'd be nice to be able to cut right on that edge, because then when you go from underneath it, there'd be very little evidence. Like there'd be zero evidence of this ever having quarter panels put on it. Because I just hate when you look inside a nice car and you see great big ugly seams everywhere. Because if you cut right to this edge and you weld it, when you weld and your weld shrinks, it'll pull this in, it'll pull this that way, and that'll affect your trunk gap. Whereas if you leave a ½ inch or so there, that effectively turns this into a piece of angle iron. And if you weld back here, when your weld shrinks, it's going to have a tough time pulling your gap open. So you want to leave a little bit of edge there for strength. So like I said, probably about a ½ inch or so in, I'll go all the way down. See, and this is just the way it's cut, right? Like I cut a straight line. You seen me cut it. I cut that lip off right in the corner. So like I said, if I try to use this whole thing, I've done it before, and actually I have pictures of a 70 Camaro, 70 and a half. I guess the owner told me they didn't make 70s, they're all 70 and a half, whatever. Anyways, that I did full quarters on it, and I used the seams because it had problems inside, previous work problems, and what a pain in the ass. Both sides, I had to doctor them up. Didn't fit the trunk lid, didn't fit the car, and they were, I think they were Dynacorn as well. They were, and he bought them from a place that, this GM restoration parts, blah, blah, blah. And that's what they had, that's what they made. So that's what you get. It's not a Tunyang piece of shit, made out of crushed up Coors Light cans. Like, it's made out of good metal and stuff, this quarter, but it's just not really there. A lot of other stuff is pretty good though. Our line kind of depends on, see if you get down there, body line's pretty good, and it's just clamped into place, so as long as I can maintain that. I have made a cut here already, so I can drop it down flush to make sure that's going to line up. Yeah, that's good, everybody's happy. So I'm going to pop it off one last time, and then, oh yeah, that does show up, hey? I'm not very happy about that, but what are you going to do? That'll be an easy bunk, but I don't want to bunk it until we're all pinned together and have some strength in there. So yeah, that's it, final fit. It's going to work out. So I kind of started, but this is going to be a problem. This is right up the keister, right in there. But it's cutting and welding, right? So if it doesn't work one way, then you cut it and weld it a different way. The problem I'm going to have is when I move this around, it's changing the radius of it. Where'd my trim go? If you're doing shit like this, make sure you got your trim. Because yeah, now as I'm putting my trim in there, obviously that's a problem. But like you can see that to get that radius correct in there, I thought maybe I could get this here now and then take it off the car and then finish welding it and stuff. It was worse, and I used the physics of welding in my favor, and I put a great big fat booger of weld in there. Normally you would put a little here, a little there, let it cool, so you don't got that much of a weld there to shrink. But in this case, I wanted it to shrink to try to pull that radius in to sharpen it up, and actually it worked. Because, well yeah, it worked. I didn't show what the trim fit like before, but it fits better now than it did before I put that weld in there. However, I don't want the same thing to happen there. So what I'm going to have to do is, I got a little piece of steel that I welded in there. I don't know what the hell it is. It's a scrap that I trimmed off of something else. So I'll have to cut a few more pieces and put a few pieces in there to maintain our distance so that it doesn't pull it around. Same with here. I actually might want to cut that a little bit and try to get it to go that way. I don't know. We'll see. Luckily, we don't got a whole bunch of shit. I'm not going to have, like I said before, I've had to do a lot of work. I've done it in the past where it has literally taken me days to put a quarter panel on. And this isn't going to be that bad. This is going to be, you know, a couple hours dinking around here and there. It was the right decision, though, to not use the jam portions of the quarter panel, because it'd be a hell of a lot worse than it is now. So I'm going to pull it off of there, I guess. Going to make some marks where I got to punch some holes and it'll blah, 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 et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then, yeah, get her on there for the final time and get to getting. So let me, I don't know, show you how I do stuff, something. And I got earplugs in, so if I'm yelling or I'm whispering or I don't know, I can't hear nothing. So remember, we're too wide here, hey? So what I've done is I've made a cut. First little bit of a cut, I used a thinner wheel. Then up here I'm using I think it's an 1/8 inch. So when I cut it and I released it, it done some of that. So I kind of clamped it and then couldn't get it tight enough. So take a hammer and a little screwdriver, boink, 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 and I bumped her up tight. And it's still clamped. So I need to take more out of there because we're still not there yet. So now that it's tight, I'll make another pass with my grinder, which will give me another 1/8 of an inch. Then bonk, bonk, bonk. And then that ought to give me, so I'll come down to here. And just pay attention because the vibration might set you to spread and open again. Yeah? See, now I think I think we're there. I'll put a tack weld in there, and then my trim is going to tell me if I'm there or not, because that don't lie. I think we're there. And now an added bonus of that is there was a pretty good gap here because this had a curve to it. This edge here had a curve to it, but now that I've pulled that in, I've straightened that out, hey, because I've taken the top part of the curve out of it. So the trim fits good up there. That's getting 2 birds stoned at once. Now that we're all kind of where we need to be here, we can pull a carnage out of here. The carnage. We got carnage. So this is the piece that, come on now. That's left over. So that's what we cut off, hey? See what I'm saying to you? So now when you do it like that there, you can cut that out and now you got a butt weld, because this would have been your lap. There's no lap welding going on here. So yeah, as I cut through, that's what was left on there. I think somebody commented on the inner wheelhouse video about why I left so much quarter panel. Or no, sorry, this is the quarter panel. Why I left so much quarter panel in place underneath of the new quarter panel. It's because I'm cutting it out of there, that's why. See, there it is. I don't know if you can see here, we got a bottle jack in here. I noticed when I was dinking around that once I took the quarter off, our gap with it took a bunch of the strength out of here, and this was kind of sagging. I don't really know why, it just was. So I got a bottle jack in there. Are we closed? What's going on here? To get us back up where we need to be. And that's where we are. So I like when I'm doing this kind of shit, there's a lot of seams that can kind of float a little bit, you know, before you lock everybody in. Like down here, that can kind of float back and forth. Around the wheelhouse, that can float a little bit, and it kind of needs to. But like stuff like this, it's kind of got to be what it's got to be. So I do this stuff first, right? Like I did back there by the trunk. Up here is pinned, in the window's pinned, and so here, because now here, just in case we're not all the way there, as far as the shape on the new quarter panel. So then I'll inch my way down with some tack welds here, and actually I'll put a few in. But like I said, I'll inch my way down because I got this much behind it still, backer. That's still the original sheet metal. So tack it, then we'll cut her through. I'll show you. So give her a good You see that? And then you're gonna have to do some squinting. I recommend holding it till your thumb gets hot. That's what I'm talking about. Something that I'm not too warm and fuzzy about, and I don't even get, is that. What are you supposed to do with that? I'm going to have to weld that up. Like, why is that there? What are you guys doing? What's the matter with you? Hey? I'm asking you. It's a big hole. I guess maybe it's for the water runoff here, so you don't get water spots on your paint. So when the water runoff off the drip rail, you can go to the inside and then just rust everything out what you just done fixing. But so everybody, like we're all where we want to be. Hey, we just got some tacks here and there, some stuff's still actually that wound up good. Oh yeah, here I'll show you more as long as you're still here. So again, once everybody's cut and cleared, you know, I just don't like cutting myself, and I have numerous cuts on my little digits already from doing this, so gloves it is. So you should be able to reach in there and pull out, because remember there was a hunk of quarter panel in there. Sometimes it takes a little bit of wiggling and there it is. Okay. That's where we were. So when you're doing this kind of shit, it's important for you to have your shit like this piece of window trim, right? Because you can see I had to cut into that one more time. And look at how much I had to spread it out. Probably, I don't know what's that, not quite a quarter of an inch. But I had to pick it up again because we had too much of a gap around this radius. And that's just because the Cortipino, the radius just wasn't stamped right. And I mean, initially it came down here. Like it was down a good quarter of an inch, that curve. So I'd done the first bit off the car to get it close so I could get it on the car in place. And then the fine tuning you got to do, and you got to have stuff to fine tune it. Because if you do all this shit, you put a Cortipino on a car and you got nothing. Say you're doing this and you don't got a door, you know, you're just working on the carcass of a car, which a lot of people do. And you put your panels on and then you go to start fitting everything else up. Oh, holy jumping jihad. That's just a nightmare trying to get everything to fit because nothing fits. But here, body line, door gap, trunk lid, gap, etc., etc., etc. Window trim. I mean, now that's important, right? And like I said before, we had a gap here, but with the work that I'd done between up there and down here, now we're good all the way around it. So all this that I'm doing on this side, chances are really good that I'm going to have to do it on that side as well. But, I mean, if you want a new car, you should go buy a new car. And if you want a car you don't got to do this stuff to, then find yourself a nice rust-free car and pay 3 times the money for it. Another thing too, like back here, now you can see how round that is, but you can see that's why I made a cut here, because you can see how pointy that is. It's quite pointy, and that's quite round. So what I'm going to do is I'll probably wind up pinching that together and pulling another cut out of there, and I gotta collapse that corner in, because that side it's pointy up here, but then it gradually softens up to that radius, whereas this does not. See what I'm saying? Pretty pointy, pretty roundy. So again, you know, and somebody's already commented in one of my last videos that they done a Cortipino on one of these cars and they had a hell of a time back there because that whole pocket stamped in the back didn't fit the bumper, didn't fit nothing when they went to put the car back together. So that's the way around that. Hopefully yours isn't all bitched up back there so that you can maintain a little bit of the factory integrity back there and then just put your Taiwanese smorgasbord on over top. So that's I mean, we're at welding now. That's it. Everybody's happy. Now it's time to just start working my way around the panel and welding and up there and down there and, you know. There's enough welding to be done, something like this, that if I start here, I can probably put a weld in every 2 or 3 inches. Because I mean, I'm just joining spot welds together basically. And I can work my way all the way up and around. And by the time I get down to there doing them weld back to back to back, you know, like I say, every few inches, by the time I come back here, it's cold. I mean, you can just keep on going around and around, round and around and around. And that's what I'm going to do. Huh? I think you can kind of smell what I'm stepping in here. I don't got much left. Actually, I just got 3 handfuls. Ooh, look at her go. 3 handfuls of little spots left to do around here to join up some of these welds. Yeah, it's, I don't know, you do it this way, no warpage, no, etc., etc., etc. I'm not going to grind all this down and dress these welds in this video. I think I might do another video of that, because I might have some pointers for some of you. Some, maybe, I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe I'm stupid. I don't know. I probably am, but that's okay. I got to be me, right? So if you're doing this and you get to the point where you're thinking, holy shit, that's a lot of work. I don't know if I should be doing this. Just remember, something that somebody that I worked for when I was younger told me. If it was easy, your wife would be doing it. I'm not sure what he paid for alimony payments.